Hey everyone, it's Heidi with Ascend Therapy Services, for those of you who don't know me, and we help active older adults who are experiencing a setback or a decline maximize safety and independence so that they can continue to do what they love. So today I want to talk about fall prevention. I've had a few questions about it lately, so we're just going to chat about a few things. And as always, if you are watching live, type live. If you're watching this on the replay, type replay. And here we go. Let me know if you're here watching. So hi Jackie. 1 in 5 falls causes an injury, and 3 million older adults are treated in the emergency room for a fall related injury every year. A lot of these falls can be preventable, so we want to talk about that today. So I just created this handout about fall prevention and tips. So I'm going to kind of go through the handout with you today. If you have any questions, type them in the chat. If you would like a copy of this handout, type fall prevention handout or something like that in the chat, and I'll make sure to get a copy sent over to you. So one is just to address hearing and vision problems. We've talked about this before with other things, but it's just super important. If we're not seeing properly, if we're not hearing properly, it's really hard to do everything as safely as it should be done. So keeping those up to date. Creating a medication management system that works for you. Making sure that you're reviewing your medications, that you're having your doctors review your medications, especially when we have multiple doctors doing different things, to make sure that those are still appropriate for you if it's been a little while. And then creating a system to help you safely and properly take your medications every day. Sometimes there gets to be a few of them and it's hard to keep track, so we want to make sure that we're doing that right, because that can have a huge effect on our balance and our falls. Another is to do daily movement. Exercise is important. Exercise is great. Daily movement, general daily movement, is crucial for our strength and mobility. And some simple movements include things like standing and sitting from your chair a few times in a row, slow and steady, nice and controlled, just standing up, sitting down, standing up, sitting down. That makes a big difference. So we could do chair push-ups, where you put your hands on the armrest of your chair and you push down to kind of lift up your bum a little bit. And even if you don't lift up too much, pushing down, that helps. Marching while you're sitting in your chair, or just walking around your home, walking down the hall, getting some form of movement every day. And there's all sorts of things we can do. Those are just a few simple ones there. Another one is to be aware of your balance and strengthen and train your balance. And so I have on this handout actually a link to a video with some balance training tasks that you can do. One is just, so if you're standing at a countertop, or if you have a walker, holding onto your walker and standing with your feet together, it just makes our balance a little different. It challenges us a little bit. So make sure that if you try any of these, that you are being safe. If it doesn't feel comfortable or right for you, then we'll step back and not do this one. Make sure that you're holding on at first, and you can kind of hover your hands above the counter if you feel stable, and if you don't, keep those hands on the counter. But one is keeping your feet, pretend my hands are my feet, together. Another one is to keep them together, but push one slightly in front of the other, so they're kind of halfway through. The other one that's most challenging is tandem stance, and that's when one foot is directly in front of the other foot. And so I would recommend, if you're trying these for the first time, definitely have both hands on a counter, on a walker. I like to do it at the sink because then I can grab onto that counter and try it out. And if you feel good, then you can kind of lift up one hand. If you feel good, kind of lift up, leave maybe your fingertips. Just do what feels right for you. Make sure that you're being safe if you're trying those balance tasks. But we want to make sure that we're addressing our balance issues if we have them. And you can always get therapy to work on that also. Another is to set up your environment for optimal support. So this is really what I'm into, making sure that the environment is set up right for you. So we'll just kind of go through a few things: keeping walkways clear, securing cords, covering them, taping them against the wall, whatever we need to do. Making sure that there's adequate lighting in your workspace and in each room. So in the bathroom, we can use a toilet seat riser, toilet safety frame if it's difficult for you to get up and down. If you're using momentum to get up from the toilet, we don't want to do that. If you're reaching and grabbing like a towel bar, we don't want to do that. Those aren't safe ways to reach and get up from the toilet, so we can use some of these things. We can make sure that we are safe in the bathroom with getting a bath mat that has traction on the bottom that is secure. So if you're going to step out of the shower onto a bath mat, you know that the mat's actually secure and not just going to slide with you. Using traction strips on the floor in the shower so that you don't have to pick up the mat and put it down every time you get in the shower. Those strips stay there, but it gives you some traction. And using grab bar covers, I think, are really great. Sometimes especially when we sit in the shower and we need to use the grab bar to pull ourselves up, it can be pretty slippery, but they have these really cool covers that you zip on, and that helps get better traction for that. In the bedroom, you can use a bed rail to help with getting in and out of bed, and use motion censored night lights when walking, like from your bed to the bathroom at night. That's a good thing to have also. In the kitchen, I would recommend placing most commonly used items and larger heavy items, either leaving them on the counter or somewhere between your shoulder and your waist range, so you're not bending low to pick those up or reaching up high for those items. And to use a reacher for light things, like if you have boxes of cereal, up high or down low, instead of, stepping up on a shelf. There's a bug. Using a reacher to get those things. I wouldn't use it for like mugs and stuff unless there are some. We can talk about that another time. But so that's the kitchen. The living room, make sure that you have enough space between your sofa, your coffee table, whatnot, especially if you use a walker, so that you can keep the walker with you the whole time until you sit down. We don't want to have to leave that somewhere and then squeeze between items to get to the couch. So make sure we have space for that. And then make sure that your seating is an appropriate height for you. Sometimes couches are really low and soft and it's hard to get up from. And again, we use our momentum. We have a friend or a spouse or a family member pull us up to get up off the couch. So if we raised it up a little bit or had the right support, that would be easier. We can get, chair risers, couch risers. And another easier way to get up, again, instead of using our momentum to push ourselves up, scoot forward in your seat and then tuck your feet back behind you so you bend your knees, lean forward, get that nose over your toes, put your hands on the armrests if they have one or the couch side if they have it, and push yourself up. Slow and controlled is much better, much safer than trying to just use momentum to stand up. And then using adaptive tools for daily activities. So there are a ton of tools to help with things in the shower while getting your socks or shoes on. I know sometimes bending and reaching is difficult and it makes us lose our balance a little bit. So they have items like the foot funnel I've talked about, the soap pouch that we can use to keep good traction while we're washing so it doesn't slip and make us slip also. Long-handled sponges, stocking donners, sock aids to help get your socks on and such like that. So those are all really great tools to help, and it helps with just making daily tasks easier, but also helps keep you safe while you're working on these tasks and activities. So that was kind of a whirlwind, just some tips and tools to prevent those falls that we don't want to have. So again, with all of these things like the balance exercises, right, make sure you're being safe if you're trying those. We're wanting to prevent falls, not cause them by doing too much. If you have any questions about any of this, please reach out and let me know. And if you would like the handout, type handout in the comments and I will make sure to get that over to you. So if you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, I'll see you later.